Hello, this is Lee and Robbie from the podcast Lee and Robbie Learn You Stuff About Movies, and today we're talking about some movie news. Our top story, Deadline has reported that District 9 director Neill Blomkamp will be bringing us a new RoboCop movie, which will serve as a direct sequel to the original, and we might have Donald Trump to thank. This new installment, titled RoboCop Returns, it's the first time I said that out loud, Jesus, is written by Justin Rhodes and is based off the original unused script for RoboCop 2 titled Corporate Wars. In Corporate Wars, RoboCop is rebooted 30 years after the events of the first film and finds himself in a strange future where a reality show host is president and people are addicted to technology. Sounds pretty familiar. Robbie, what do you think here?
Yes, well, first off, I'll just say thank you for having me. That was some NPR shit, dude. That was some good. This is good NPR. I felt like I was listening to.
I couldn't say RoboCop Returns with a straight face.
Yes, the title is not great, not fantastic, but I do like that Neill Blomkamp is attached to it.
Yeah.
And based on what we were talking about a little bit earlier with who was writing it, I mean, you had said I don't know. I mean, you have all the info in front of you, so you can go more into it. The writer is not well known, but he's writing 3 upcoming blockbuster movies with 3 different studios, so clearly he's impressed somebody. So that's probably a good sign. And they already have a script that they're working off of as well. So
exactly.
I guess the question is, how close are they going to stick to that original idea? I would imagine they're probably just going to adapt some stuff to make it make more sense.
Yeah.
For a modern audience or whatever. And the fact that they're going with RoboCop Returns is interesting, given that there is not a chance in hell Peter Weller is going to be involved.
Yeah, I think it's more of
like the idea of somebody else is going to be a RoboCop or something along those lines.
Yeah, I mean, the idea with RoboCop Returns is that it's the original RoboCop returning, not the fucking remake RoboCop, you know? Yeah. So I saw District 9 opening weekend almost 10 years ago. And when I left the theater, I said, that guy needs to make a RoboCop movie.
Yes, we've had conversations about this before.
Yeah,
not
I've talked
on
about,
the air, but
that's been like my dream director for this project. And the thing that there should be, like, I understand if there's trepidation about Neill Blomkamp directing because essentially he's 1 for 3. I think Chappie is fucking garbage.
Well, Chappie looked good.
Yes.
At least.
No.
Chappie looked very good.
Chappie looked good.
I don't know. Did he write Chappie? Was he involved in that?
So what I'm alluding to here is Chappie is horrendous. Elysium is fine. District 9 is, I think, one of the best sci-fi films of the modern era of sci-fi. I fucking love that movie. And I think what's going to be interesting here is him basically directing something that is not by him.
Yeah, it's not an original.
I think he's a strong director. I don't think he's necessarily a great writer. You know, I think that's his biggest weakness.
Yeah, because since he's really only 1 for 3 in that department, maybe. And did he write District 9 as well, or did he?
Yeah, and the thing with District 9 is a lot of it was improvised. He basically wanted to tell an allegory for apartheid, and he did. And
apartheid. Why'd you say it like that?
I had
apartheid.
I was still swallowing my whiskey as I said that.
Yes.
Excuse me. He essentially wanted to tell this story, and a lot of the dialogue is improvised, and it was sort of storyboarded out and then worked out during filming, from what I've read.
Gotcha.
So he didn't have a screenplay to go off of, but I think him having one that was not written by him, where he can bring his own lens to it and interpret it his own way, rather than him coming up with everything himself.
Yeah.
I think that'll make it. I think it'll have a better chance of being really good. I mean, he's had shades of RoboCop in every movie he's made.
Yeah,
you know?
and I mean, if nothing else, it'll be visually stunning. So we've got that.
Yeah,
at least.
Yeah,
if
for sure.
nothing else, it'll be a very pretty movie.
For sure. Now, about this whole Corporate Wars thing. So this was when RoboCop came out and became a huge hit. Obviously, Orion said, "Hey, let's do another one right fucking now," and they rehired Ed Neumeyer, Michael Miner, the original writers, to develop a second movie. And they wrote a first draft that they admit is insanely rough. It's very, very rough as far as, you know, a rough draft goes. And
it sounds like it's really just the core concept.
Yeah, I mean, it's an entire script, but they just wanted to get the idea out. And
yeah, that's what I mean.
Fucking batshit, it's batshit insane. there's all kinds of crazy shit going on. There's like sex robots, and RoboCop's not even really the main character. He's almost like Mad Max, where he's just the character that we experience the story through, and he kind of takes a back seat. But yeah, it starts out like the second one. He goes to bust up some crime, and he wastes all the bad guys, but one of them is barely alive and blows him apart with a cannon. And then like 30 years later, his remains are sort of found in this like basement level of what used to be OCP, and he's rebuilt and rebooted and brought back to fight crime. And the future world of this Detroit is even crazier than it was in the first one. And yeah, I'd buy that for $1 guy is the president.
Which is to say a reality like TV show star, basically.
Yeah, the reality show host president. And then there's all these different... There's a robot for basically every type of need that people have, and people sort of just live through their technology, which could be updated to, like iPhones and social media and stuff, especially with that we talked about in the old show. This new series of RoboCop comics came out where there's not really a police system. It's like there's a social media app where you can report crimes and get paid for reporting the crimes, and it's sort of like a crowdfunded police unit thing. I don't really know how to explain it, but something like that could be really cool here, you know? So yeah, I think basically they're just going to take, or this guy, Justin Rhodes, is taking sort of the idea of the original script and revamping it and making it fresh and, relevant to what's going on today. And the other thing I got to say real quick about Neill Blomkamp is, regardless of the quality of his movies, he always has a lot of good political commentary in his movies, even though Elysium is a little heavy-handed.
I never saw Elysium.
It's a little too preachy, but the idea is good.
Yeah.
And with him not being American, I think the whole thing with RoboCop that made it so great was Paul Verhoeven's sort of outside perspective on America in the era that it was in, like the whole Reagan era. So I think having an outsider's perspective on what we're going through now will kind of bring it back to its roots of it being, more satirical and have a unique outlook on.
As long as it's handled tactfully. I mean, that's kind of the one thing that I'm sort of interested to see what they do, because it'd be really, really easy to get just super heavy-handed with all the anti-Trump stuff.
Yeah,
and I don't want that.
Yeah, and I think it'll be more of a parody of Trump as opposed. Pure speculation.
Yeah,
based off the idea of that Bixby Snyder, that I'd buy that for $1 guy being president. Surely it's almost like farcical,
Yeah, you would think so. It's it's just like there's not a way to directly make fun of Trump that we haven't already heard before. So I'm very interested to see what they do about that. If that's the direction that they're going, if they're going to stick sort of more close to that original idea.
Yeah. And real quick,
especially if Trump was sort of part of the inspiration for why they decided to kind of maybe do something with it.
Yeah, so I got to mention that real quick. I can't forget to leave out the stinger at the end of the little newsreel there. So basically what happened is the current president of MGM, John Glickman, he called up Ed Neumeyer and said, hey, this was right when Trump was about to be elected president. He called up Ed Neumeyer and said, did you guys actually predict in your sequel script that a reality star would run for president and win? He's like, yeah. And so that sort of sparked the interest of maybe we should revisit this. And I think another aspect of the script that made it sort of relevant is right now the trend is to take an old franchise that's like 30 to 40 years old and reboot it by making a sequel to the first film and ignoring the rest of the movies, which is what's going on with Terminator.
Which, fittingly enough, same guy is writing the script for Terminator as well.
Exactly. And with this kind of starting where RoboCop ends and then immediately jumping forward in time, I think that's like perfect.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially with whoever they get to play RoboCop. I mean, they can de-age him or, whatever they need to do.
Yeah, and I mean, push comes to shove, they could always just say that they make a new RoboCop model or something on those lines, if there's an updated thing. I don't know. Since Peter Weller's not going to be involved.
Yeah,
almost certainly.
I mean, this is ignoring 2 and 3 even, but in the third RoboCop, how they explain why he looks different than Peter Weller, who declined to reprise the role, is that he gets set on fire, and so they have to sort of
reconstruct
him, and
Yeah,
so
so
he
they do
looks a
something
little
like that
different.
then.
So you could do whatever with it, you know. Honestly, and I think it'd be great if, you know, there's no reason to see him without the helmet on.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if we can get a whole Dredd movie where he never takes the helmet off, just
shove the helmet on him.
Yeah, just keep the helmet on him. We just need that jaw, bro. That $1 million jaw.
As long as they can go, your move, creep. Do a
sure.
convincing impression. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah, I just need the right voice and right physicality.
Yep.
But it can be done.
And they could certainly find somebody to do that.
I think so. Well, guys, if you watch this, let us know what your thoughts are, especially regarding Neill Blomkamp. Are you excited for the new Terminator movie? What do you think of all this stuff about ignoring sequels and going back to the roots of the original? For some reason, did you enjoy the remake of RoboCop and want to see a sequel of that instead? I don't know. Maybe that person exists.
Yeah, who knows?
But yeah, thanks for listening, and we'll probably do more of these. Just little blips about newsworthy stories and stuff like that.
Yeah, just like notable events.
Yeah. But if you want to check out our podcast, you can find us at SoundCloud or iTunes or Google at Lee and Robbie Learn You Stuff About Movies.
Yep, you can find us on Instagram as well. You can search either Learn You Stuff About Movies or Lee and Robbie. Either way, it pops up.
Indeed.
There you go, folks.
All right. Oh, don't forget to hit that like, and subscribe, and share button, and ring the bell for notifications.
It was us shooting into the air. There's no video, so
Yeah,
but that's what that was supposed to be.
All right, that's it.